Hi again, second time today, ladies. I just want to clarify a few things, obviously, because I went out this morning full of the joys of winter, and then I got back and started to read the Labour's calculator. So this is what I want to say. So there's no. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, "Oh, 19,000 for me, 17,000 for me, 18,000 for me, 29,000 for me." Great, yeah, but I wonder if these ladies actually know that there may be now a woman born in, I'm 1958, but I'm not talking about me here, because I could stagger through if needs be. But what about a woman born in 1958 or 1959 who is right at the bottom end of the scale? Are you aware that this is done on a sliding scale? And now I'm very pleased that Labour has acknowledged that we've got an injustice that they are trying to put right. I'm very pleased at what they're doing. I'm not very pleased about the way they have used a sliding age scale to go about it. So this is my thoughts on this. So if you have a lady born 1959 who may be down at her compensation for losing 6 years of her pension, suddenly becomes something like £5,000, and I'm quoting approximates here, but they're pretty close to approximates, as opposed to someone that might have been born in 1954, 55, who might be getting above £20,000, £29,000. Some people, and I'm trying to just think of what the comments have come up that people have said that they were and what they'd got. So what I want you all to consider is all us women have fought hard for this, and I think it's superb that the Labour government, if we have one, will try and address this. And don't forget, back to 60 has still got its appeal, and the Labour government acknowledged that and said that it was absolutely right, and that they were making provision because in their eyes it was an injustice, and that if back to 60 wins their appeal and gets back to court and wins it, they would have had to make provision to pay back as women anyway. But please, it's great for those that are doing this calculator and maybe think that the rest of the women who were born later than them but have suffered the same number of years wait are getting the same. They're not. It's a massively sliding scale. And so what you have got to ask yourself is this fair to all us women who have suffered? And so what we need to do right now is do not forget the woman that has fought alongside you. Do not forget the woman who is living in poverty right now and might get a pittance of £5,000 over 5 years. Well, we all know what £5,000, £1,000 a year. What good is that going to do to a woman who's going to lose her home, who is driven to poverty and food banks? Yeah, please think about this morally and realise that there has to be a fairer way to distribute this compensation. And in my opinion, it should be based on the number of years that you have lost pension for. That's an easy. Now, I will tell you why I think they're not doing this. It's because I've been desperately trying for the last 2 hours to find a graph that showed that the majority of women that have lost the most are in the latter half of the 50s. So there is a massive imbalance between the earlier half of the 50s and what they've lost to the latter half of how many women are in the latter half that have lost 6 years or more compared to the women who are in the earlier half who've lost years. So it stands to reason that they are going to do a sliding scale as a cost-saving exercise. Now, this isn't fairness. So if the Labour government want to quote fairness, they have got to start with this offer to the WASPI and the 1950s women. You have got to be fair. So please, before you get excited, and I think it's great and we are so proud of ourselves, and Everybody has done this. Everybody has done this. And you should be thankful, because without us all doing what we've done, we wouldn't be at this stage today. But don't forget those poor women who are in poverty. They haven't the luxury, like me, of having some life savings that I can call upon and get me there. Right now, they've nothing. And they will have nothing except a share of £5,000 over 5 years, some of them. And that's an approximation, but it's about right. You know, those women will have nothing. There'll be no benefit for those women who are in poverty right now. So please, please think about this. Investigate what they're offering to all women here. And you might be celebrating because you've got 20, 21, 27,000. And I would be very pleased if we all had a balanced amount between us. And I'm not saying you don't deserve that, because you damn well do deserve that money. I deserve my £52,000 back. But what I'm saying, it's a start. And whilst we appreciate what Labour's done here, we must insist that this is done fairly, because otherwise it's just age discrimination again. I can't say discrimination. And it just makes hypocrites of us if we accept so much for one woman and leave some other woman to wallow in misery for the next 5 years. So please, please, before we get carried away, let's think about campaigning still, and we must make sure that Labour put in place a fair distribution and make sure that all women are treated equally. This is what we've been saying all along. We're treated equally. The only way I think you can do that is to base it on a figure of so much for every year of pension that a woman has lost. And I hope you take this seriously, and I am so pleased today. I'm very tired actually today, because I've been around and running about all day. But I'm really, really pleased. We should be proud of ourselves, but please do not forget these women that may well get lost in all this exuberation. We need to look at this calculation, and we need to make sure that we can live with ourselves, that we have taken compensation over some woman who will now have to live in poverty. And that's all I'm going to say.